Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are ill-informed, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution are referred to as the Bill of Rights, and we will be giving you their information now.
Amendment 1. The right to freedom of speech and religion allows you to practice religion or not practice religion. Amendment 2. The right to bear arms allows you to own a firearm, also known as a gun.
Amendment 3. Soldiers are not allowed to live in civilian homes without consent of the homeowner. Amendment 4. Your home or personal property can't be searched without a warrant.
Amendment 5. The right of fair trial. Amendment 6. The right of the trial by a jury is until proof of guilty.
Amendment 7. Once proven innocent to a crime, the case cannot be reopened or re-examined. Amendment 8. Consistent bail fines and punishments forbidden.
Amendment 9. People cannot take other people's rights away. Amendment 10. Anything that was not given to federal government and not banned by the Constitution is the power of the states.
Amendment 1. Schneck v. United States 249 U.S. 47 was a landmark United States Supreme Court case concerning amendment and enforcement of the Espionage Act of 1917 during World War I. United States won, Schneck lost the case. United States v. Cruikshank 92 U.S. 542 was an important United States Supreme Court case in which the court held that the Bill of Rights did not apply to the private actors or state governments despite the adoption of the 14th Amendment. Cruikshank killed over 1,800 Africans, leading to the United States a high win to the case, and they did. Colorado v. Kennelly, Amendment 3. 479 U.S. 157 was a Supreme Court case that initiated by Francis Kennelly, who insisted that the schizophrenic episode rendered him incompetent, nullifying his waiver of the Miranda rights. The Supreme Court of Colorado affirmed after evaluating the totality of circumstances surrounding the unsolicited confession and the waiver of the Miranda rights, which led Colorado to winning against Kennelly.
Amendment 4. Mapp v. Ohio. In the 1961 case, Mapp v. Ohio, the Supreme Court decided that any evidence obtained in violation of the Fourth Amendment would be deemed inadmissible. The argument between Mapp v. Ohio ended in Mapp winning. Amendment 5. Chambers v. Florida was a landmark United States Supreme Court case that dealt with the extent that police pressure resulting in a criminal defendant's confession violates the due process clause. Florida won. Chambers confessed to the crime and was convicted of capital murder. Amendment 6. Gideon v. Wainwright is a landmark case in United States Supreme Court history. In it, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that states are required under the Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution to provide an attorney to defendants in criminal cases who are unable to afford their own. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled that an attorney be provided if unaffordable.
Amendment 7. Botson v. Kentucky 476 U.S. 79 was a case in which the United States Supreme Court ruled that a prosecutor's use of peremptory challenge in a criminal case, the dismissal of jurors without stating a valid cause for doing so, may not be used to exclude jurors based solely on their race. You cannot dismiss jurors without a valid cause. Race is not a valid cause. Botson won.
Amendment 8. Furman v. Georgia, 1972, was a landmark 8th Amendment court case that will seriously change the way that the death penalty was enforced in the United States. Furman appealed the sentence and the support court agreed that the death penalty was violated. The 8th Amendment prohibition against cruel and unusual punishments. In this case, the Supreme Court agreed to the death penalty violated the 8th Amendment's prohibition against the cruel and unusual punishments. Furman won. Griswold v. Connecticut 381 U.S. 479 is a landmark case in the United States about access to contraception. This case involved a Connecticut Comstock law that prohibited any person from using any drug, medical article, or instrument for the purpose of preventing conception. Connecticut won. Comstock laws were found unconstitutional. Hammer v. Diganart 247 U.S. 251 was the United States Supreme Court decision in which the court struck down a federal law regulating child labor. The case was overruled by United States v. Darby Lumber Co. Hammer won. The court ruled child labor was not allowed.